Welcome to this edition of On the Scene. I'm your host, Tim Kelly. Today we're going to be coming to you for the Suffolk Workforce Development Center, talking about the great offerings here for both employees and employers alike. Also, we're going to spend some time talking about Virginia Regional Transit, which is going to be a new player in the public transportation scene here in the city of Suffolk come January of 2012. Stay tuned. Welcome back to this edition of On the Scene. We're joined now with Daryl Feasel, who's the Regional Transit Director with VRT, and Eric Nielsen, our Director of Public Works for the City of Suffolk. Thank you both for being with us today.
Thank you, Tim.
Good. We're here to talk about the transition from HRT to VRT coming up in January of 2012. And Eric, I'm going to let you start us out, tell us a little bit about what's going to happen with the transition, and Daryl will let you kind of pick up and kind of talk about some of the details of the process.
Sure. Let me start out by giving you a little background. The service that's currently provided is provided by Hampton Roads Transit. Hampton Roads Transit did a regional study of all of their routes in the Hampton Roads area that they provide service to, and they had different performance measurements on all of their routes. And as we looked at the 4 routes that were being run in Suffolk, unfortunately, 2 of our routes fell at the very bottom of their performance measurements, which to them really hit a highlight that said, these routes are problematic. There are not very many people riding them. They're expensive to run. So HRT had a concern, and they came to us early in the year and said, we think you need to look at a different type of system. We run an urbanized system, and it may be not the most efficient way for the city of Suffolk to provide public transit to its citizens. So with that said, we put out a request for proposals. We interviewed 3 firms, one of which was Virginia Regional Transit, and they were selected as our transit provider. One of the items that's very important that they're going to provide for us is a review and a performance measure. What do you call it, Daryl?
Comprehensive Operational Analysis.
There you go, a COA. So they are going to study not only our existing routes, but also look at our entire city.
Correct.
And come up with what I would call a better transit plan. I think what HRT was able to tell us is our current system's broke and it's expensive. So we think at the end of the day, we're going to have a more efficient, effective system with Virginia Regional Transit. So when the operating budget was approved for the current fiscal year, which started July 1st, the plan was we would phase out the routes being provided by HRT. 2 routes that will stop at the end of December, December 30th, will be routes 72 and 73. VRT will take over the system on January 3rd, and they will provide service to 71 and 74.
Got it.
So the riders that are using 71 and 74, the only thing they're going to see different is December 30th, they were going to be riding with HRT bus.
Right.
Starting January 3rd, which is a Tuesday.
Correct.
Monday's a holiday because of New Year's.
Correct.
So Tuesday morning, there will be a VRT bus picking them up on that same route 71 and 74.
Okay. So the transition, Daryl, will be pretty seamless again for the riders that are using those 2 routes, 71 and 74, correct?
Yes, they shouldn't see much difference, except the buses will be have a few more stripes on them.
Okay.
And they'll be blue and purple stripes, and there'll be different drivers. But otherwise, we'll start that morning around 5:30 on one route and 6:30 on the next route, and we'll be providing seamless service. So the fare will stay the same at $1.50, or a rider will be able to buy a ticket from the driver for all-day service for $3.
Okay. Now, as far as the folks that may have some HRT passes left over at that time, what kind of transition is going to happen with those? I believe there's a little period of time that you will accept those still passes, correct?
That's correct. If somebody has an HRT pass and it's still good, we will accept that for a period of time.
Okay.
And until they can buy a new ticket or something like that.
Right.
But no, we will honor those. We don't want anybody to get hurt by this.
Okay. Tell us a little bit about the history of VRT, the organization, as far as where you're based out of and what other communities you serve.
Well, Virginia Regional Transit is a little bit over 20 years old. We're a private nonprofit. We operate in a number of areas throughout the Commonwealth. In fact, we currently serve about 9.6% of the Commonwealth, or excuse me, about 9.6% of the population in Virginia, and about 13% or 14% of the overall geographic area in the state. We have our main offices in Purcellville, Virginia, which is in Loudoun County. We also have a large facility in Culpeper, where I'm stationed. And we also have another facility in Fishersville. We also manage the Star Transit system over on the Eastern Shore. This last fiscal year ending September 30th, we will carry about 1.3 million people. Our organization is made up of about 176 employees, including those over at Star Transit, and we have well over 100 buses.
Okay.
So we're very excited about this new service. We're anxious to get started. We've hired a new transit manager, Maria Plotowski, and she has some experience in the Stanton area. She was on the CATS board, one of the areas that we serve. So we're real excited. We'll be making offers to 8 drivers, and we'll be training them over the next couple weeks.
Okay.
So it should be, like I say, we're real excited about it, and we know we're going to be able to do a good job. HRT has been very helpful to us over the last couple weeks. In fact, over the next week or so, the Senior Services of Virginia will be helping us do some onboard surveys.
Okay.
So as we go forward with this plan, we will hear from the riders and find out where they need to go and help them meet their needs. To us, it's always about customer service. We want to know what the customer needs, and ultimately that will go into our transit plan, and we'll be able to present that to the city staff, Eric and his team, as well as the city council. So like I say, we're very anxious to see what happens.
Great. Well, again, welcome to Suffolk as far as
Well,
that
thank you.
capacity. Let's also talk about, as far as the disabled riders, I believe there's also some information we need to put out there with that. You mentioned the $1.50 or the one-way, and then the $3 for the all-day passes, but there's also some pricing regarding to those folks as well.
Right. We will also, on January 3rd, we will continue what HRT calls Handy Ride. We will continue that service. It will be offered to those folks that live or need to go to 3/4 of a mile on each side of Route 71 and 74.
Right.
That service will be provided by our Senior Services of Southeastern Virginia. We're going to contract with them, or have contract with them, to do that service. They will meld it into the other senior services and disability services they provide in this area.
Okay.
They've been here for a long time, so we felt that since we're kind of new to the city of Suffolk area, that it would be good to partner with them, and so we're going to do that. Their buses will not have our color scheme right now. They may in the future, but they will be operating out of our office as well. There will be a phone number that you'll be able to call, make a reservation 24 hours in advance. The cost for that service will be $3 for one way, so if you're going to do a round trip, it would be $6.
Okay.
Which is similar to what HRT currently does now. So, but again, that will be only for those 3/4 of a mile on each side of that corridor for Route 71 and 74. So for those folks that have been using that service on the 72 and 73 route, that service will no longer be provided.
Okay.
So.
Now, Eric earlier mentioned about the study that you guys are going to be undertaking. Can you talk
Right.
about some of the aspects that you're considering when you're going through that process?
Sure. What we call it is a COA, and that's the slang term that everybody uses, but we are doing an in-depth study of the current routes. That's one of the reasons Senior Services is currently doing an onboard survey. But we've already been down here. We've had a couple of our planning staff. They've been riding the bus routes. We've been looking at everything. Dave Morgan, who's the other regional transit director with myself, we've been down here a number of days. We're looking at the entire city of Suffolk. We're not only looking at downtown areas and the current route structure, but we're even going out and looking out to the whole 400 square plus miles of the city of Suffolk. Once we get that, we have to get a feel for where the people want to go, where the citizens of Suffolk really need service and where they want to go. We've been out to the community college and talked to them. We're looking at is it Center Point?
Yes, sir.
We're looking at the Center Point. We understand there's going to be some major development out there with possibly work trips. We've been up to the northern part of the Suffolk, up towards the bridge tunnel in that area. So there's areas that the HRT did not serve that we feel that there might be some opportunity. But we're going to look at everything in depth, take my plus 30 years of knowledge of doing routes and planning and that type of stuff, and Dave's almost 30 years of service that he's done these type of things. And we're going to put that all together, come up with a plan. Probably a 1 to 3 to 5 year plan that we can present again to Eric and his staff and on to the city council, and hopefully come up with a transit plan that will meet the needs of the city. I can say we've done this similar thing over in Star Transit, which is over in Accomack, North counties. Hopefully, I can't promise the same results, but in late 2009, we took over that service. We made major route changes over there. We didn't add a tremendous amount of service. We just tweaked it and changed it. But this last full year of our management over there, we've seen a 56% increase in ridership. They were carrying about 2,000 people a month. Last month, they're at 6,300. So sometimes just looking at it, getting into the service, finding out where the riders want to go, where there's need and that type of thing, and really being, I guess, boots on the ground is probably the best term I can use.
Right.
and coming back and giving it time to kind of like I'm not a wine drinker, but giving it time to ferment, so to
Sure.
speak, and letting people learn how to use the route and taking it where they want to go. Hopefully we'll see some ridership increases like that here. So time will tell.
Okay.
So.
All right. Now, Eric, one other thing to mention, talk about the MAX service that some residents of the city of Suffolk are using currently. VRT will not offer a transfer to that service,
Yeah.
but you could just briefly explain how that's going to continue moving forward.
Right, the MAX service is provided by Hampton Roads Transit, and it was part of a congestion mitigation air quality grant that they acquired. So they will continue to provide that service, which links Suffolk to the rest of the HRT system. And that, in order to use the system, the rider would need to get to the Magnolia Park and Ride facility, which is located off of Portsmouth Boulevard.
Right. And that service will continue that way through the middle of 2012, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. So again, the date to remember is January the 3rd, 2012,
Right.
is we're going to make the transition to VRT. And again, we'll be continuing routes 71 and 74, correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
Correct.
All right.
With the plan of coming back in January, February, with probably the first iteration of the new analysis. We'll get it in front of City Council. We'll make some recommendations. Council may ask us to go back and look at some items. They've refined some items. So we kind of see a plan unfolding in new service delivery sometime in the spring.
Got it.
Right.
So-
Probably will not have a Route 71 and 74. We will have
Right.
maybe an orange route or a
Right.
green route, who knows, what a color or some type
Color.
of theme.
So we'll
Right.
start with 71, 74, and then look to possibly build or to alter things as we
Right.
need to, again, serve the citizens of Suffolk in perhaps a more economical and feasible way, correct?
I think that's the whole thing that we took from when we put our proposal together, is what the city was trying to do was to serve the citizens and do it not in a better way than what had been done in the past. And not to criticize HRT, I think
Sure.
they did a fine job
Sure.
in what they were asked to do. But I think the city really wants to go and what does the customer need, what does the rider want to have, and so that's what we're going to try to present. And hopefully we'll be able to do that.
Okay. Well, gentlemen, thank you for being with us today to
Thank you.
explain the transition that's coming up, and we look forward to it in early 2012. Welcome back to On the Scene. We're now at the Suffolk Workforce Development Center, joined by its coordinator, Michelle Lactera. Michelle, thanks for being with us today.
Thank you for coming.
Tell us a little bit, give us an overview on the Workforce Development Center, because there are a number of services and opportunities you provide here for people. Go through that, would you please?
Okay. Well, let me start out, give you a short history.
Sure.
We've been here about 6 years now. We continue to grow. With the first month we opened, we saw 130 people the whole month. Now we see more than 130 people every day.
Right.
So we know that the need exists. We are here to help people as a resource. If they're job seekers, we can point them in the right direction and help them in that job search. If they are here to get training and education, then we match them up with the right person
Right.
so that they can start to get funding. We have a couple experts that come in that can complete FAFSA forms, which is your educational grants, and steer people to the right educational facility.
Right.
So we're very diversified. We can cover a lot of needs. We have 12 different partners, and today the public will hear from some of our
Sure.
partners.
Sure.
One of our biggest partners is the Virginia Employment Commission. They're here with us 5 days a week. So if someone becomes unemployed or underemployed and they need their benefits, they can come here rather than travel to another city.
Got it.
And file for their unemployment benefits. And while they're here, they can register on a statewide network to also do job search that way. So that's one of our biggest services. My 2 front staff employees also help people when they come through the door if they need a resume completed,
Right.
if they want to apply to a specific employer. We provide all of those services too. So we're here just to help people
Sure.
with whatever they need.
And one key is that your services are free of charge to folks. Just got to come in here and you got to just take the step in the door basically and you take it from there. And a lot of individual attention is part of the process here, both through your providers as well as your staff on hand, correct?
Right, right. Everything we do is on an individual basis. We also help employers.
Correct.
And that's a big part of what we do now. When a new employer is coming to Suffolk or someone that's already established here has job openings and they share those with us, we will pre-screen people, collect applications, direct people to the right website to make the application. So we have that down pat. We're getting better and better at
Right.
it, and we've been very successful in placing people.
Well, great. I guess the unique thing is you not only speak to the employees, but the employer, so you can kind of marry them together in some instances,
Right.
or at least provide folks the better feel of what the job scene is in the city of Suffolk, correct?
We try our
Okay,
best.
well,
We
good
try
job.
our best.
And of course, I appreciate you. Michelle has taken the time to set us up with the opportunity to talk to a lot of the program providers that work through the Workforce Development Center, and we're going to spend some time with them now. We're joined now by Pam Reed, one of many success stories to come out of the Suffolk Workforce Development Center. Pam, thanks for being with us.
Thank you.
Tell us about your story, your individual story. You come into the Workforce Development Center to do what, and then where did that meeting originally take you?
Well, first I was doing private duty nursing, and I lost my patient after 5 months. And I wanted another career. I've always worked in the medical field, and I wanted to do phlebotomy. So I decided this is a good time for me to start. So I came in and met with Miss Michelle Actera and talked to her about my educational needs, and she directed me, you know, towards meeting those needs. And the classes that were offered to me were medical office building and coding, beginning computer, and Microsoft Word, all the things that are required in the phlebotomy field.
Right.
And it has helped me in my endeavors to reach my goal. And I am currently a student in my second semester at Paul D. Camp Community College, reaching that potential goal of being a phlebotomy technician.
Well, I tell you, that is a great story, and I tell you, one of success. But if someone's out there watching our interview right now, watching you right now, and thinking, you know, I don't know, what would you tell them to think about to encourage them to come on in here?
Well, I would tell them, first of all, you have to motivate yourself. Comes from within, and take that first step. They're here to help you. It is made ready, available to the community. And all you have to do is walk through that door. I also met with Amy Miller and Nina Daniels, and they are some of the few that will help you. Once you come to that door, they make sure that everyone individual needs are met. And I am a prime example. Here I am. I'm
Right.
successful, and I am proud of the Workforce Center.
Well, congratulations, and thank you for taking advantage of the Workforce Development Center and putting it to work for you.
Thank you.
Okay. We're joined now by Yolanda Moore with the Step Up program, which offers assistance to ex-offenders. Yolanda, thanks for being with us today.
Thank you.
Okay. What services do you provide to folks that are classified as ex-offenders?
We provide pre- and post-release services, and we assist 7 counties.
Okay.
I know Virginia don't call them counties anymore, but it's like the South Side
Right.
and the Peninsula.
Okay. And as part of that, what services specifically are offered to those folks that are coming in here? Were they looking for, you know, job skill assistance, or what kind of things do you do?
We assist them with finding employment.
Right.
Also, the major thing is educating them on getting their rights back.
Correct.
Helping them to know that they can get their records expunged, the ones that are expungible.
Right.
Because some felonies, the felonies are not expungible.
Correct. Okay.
In the state of Virginia.
Okay. And again, they would work with you through the Workforce Center. Just come in right here on North Main Street and coordinate with you here. Is that correct?
Yes, I do that once a week here
Okay.
on a Tuesday.
All right.
And that's from 8:30 to 4:30.
Okay.
But we are housed in Norfolk, Virginia,
Okay.
in the Works Corner section.
Okay.
In the Perry Building at 7510 Granby Street.
Would they need to make an appointment with you here to meet with you here, or just kind of is it first come, first serve the day that you're here?
Well, we provide both numbers for
Oh, you
both
do? Okay.
offices.
Okay. Okay. All right. Well, thanks for being with us today.
All right, thank you.
Yes, ma'am. We're joined now by Lisa Cross with the Suffolk Literacy Council, an organization that served the Suffolk community for quite some time now. Lisa, thanks for being with us.
Oh, I'm delighted too. It has served the community for over 30 years. It's a volunteer organization. We believe in the each one, teach one. So each person that comes in wanting help with their reading skills
Right.
gets an individual tutor. So
Okay.
it's a one-on-one volunteer organization.
Now, if someone comes to you, and of course you're dealing with folks that are 18 and older, correct? They come to the Workforce Center to coordinate working with you. How does that work? How does the process start? Do you kind of pre-screen as some of the other organizations do, or how do you jump in?
You come in and have a test. It's called a TABE test, I
Okay.
believe, to see how far along you are.
Correct.
So then we have a whole group of materials. So then we know whether you start in book 1 or
Right.
book 4. I actually worked with a man whose boss recommended him so that he could pass a higher level test for his civil servant's job.
Right.
So, you know, he could read, but his reading skills were not where they needed to be able to
Gotcha.
pass. So it's really a wide variety
Right.
of people. Most want their GED.
Correct. But again, it's like you said, you can serve people at different levels, so therefore maybe at this stage of your life you need to have this extra little bit of help to
Right.
get you over this hump or
Right.
get you through this process,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And I guess I would assume with the folks that you work with, you probably have a number of success stories that have really come up over the years, correct?
We do. There's some people that are just reading, and
Right.
the reasons they come, and this year alone, we have 500 hours of volunteer service working
Right.
with people reading, which really is remarkable. We have 31 tutors at the moment and 32 students, so it's really a great
Right.
program.
Okay. Well, Lisa, thanks for being with us today.
Thank you.
Okay. Sharon Simmons with the AARP joins us now to talk about some free tax preparation information and assistance that's provided through the Workforce Development Center. Talk about what you can do for folks out there that need tax help.
Okay, each year we have been given the opportunity to have the space provided for us by the Workforce Center.
Yes, ma'am.
And they supply also our equipment, which is computers, paper, and printers.
Mm-hmm.
And what we do is the taxpayers come in. There is no income level.
Okay.
We do basic returns, though,
Mm-hmm.
nothing where we have to itemize to the extreme, no farms, anything like that.
Got it.
And what we do is they fill out a form, and then they come in and they sit down, and we assign them to someone who then will prepare their tax return for them, both federal and state.
Okay.
When we are finished, we have to have them sign it, and then we can e-file it if that's possible for them, or
Sure.
we would give it to them to mail.
Okay.
Okay, and we ask is that they bring all their documents so that we can do it all in one time.
Now, as far as what's the time frame that you're going to be here at the center offering that
Okay.
service to come this spring?
We will be here from early February.
Okay.
And we usually end on April the 15th, but this year it's going to be on a Sunday or Saturday, so
Right.
we'll be going, and it's also some special holidays, the 16th in Washington,
sure.
so we'll be extending it until at least the 17th.
Okay. Now, if someone wanted to get in on the program, what would they need to do? Just call the center, or should they reach you directly, or how would we do
Well,
that?
I do leave my phone number here where they can
Okay.
reach me, but
All right.
they can come to the Workforce Center.
Sure.
We have a sign-in list, and
Okay.
so it's a first come, first served basis.
Yes, ma'am.
We have very few volunteers that help us, so we kind of do the best we can
Got it.
with what we have.
And is it by appointment?
No appointments.
No appointments,
First
sir.
come,
First
first
serve,
serve.
okay.
Yes, and we're here usually 3 days a week.
Okay. Good deal. Well, thank you again for the
Thank you.
services you offer through the center.
Thank you.
All right. Now with us is Ella Beal with Opportunity Inc. and Barbara Murphy, who's with the AARP. Thank you, ladies, for both being with us today.
Thank you.
And Barbara, we'll start with you. Tell us about what offerings you have for folks 55 and older who come to the Workforce Development Center.
Okay, our program is a grant-funded program to help people 55 and older who meet our income guidelines
Yes, ma'am.
get back in the workforce. And what we do at this center here, we take all the applications, process them, they come to my office in Norfolk, and then where they're approved, and then we assign them to what we call host agencies.
Okay.
And there are other nonprofit agencies in Suffolk.
Is there
So-
any screening that goes on so that you're kind of matching the person with the right provider so that way you get a good little partnership there?
Exactly. You know, they fill out their work history.
Yes, ma'am.
We can also do testing.
Okay.
Also, to find out, you know, sometimes people have done one thing all their lives, now they want to switch to something else.
Right.
And, you know, we can do that testing.
Great, okay. And Ella, talk about Opportunity Inc. And as far as, again, you're not dealing with potential job applicants, but also the employers as well, correct?
Correct. Our job is mostly what we do is we do job search assistance as well as training for funding.
Okay.
We partner with agencies such as AARP, the Virginia Employment Commission within the community to really assess people's needs,
Okay.
work with employers, try to get them back into the workforce, whether that be through job search assistance, resume, interview skill techniques, or if they need to retool through
Okay.
training opportunities. We are income-based household size guidelines, and we have a process that all of our applicants go through. So the first step in the process is to come to an orientation with us at 1 o'clock on every Monday here at the Suffolk
Okay.
Workforce Center.
All right.
And we move forward from that. We are individualized based on need. You do get a career developer,
Okay.
and we do our best to really get individuals back into the local workforce.
Okay, great. And again, I presume that both of your services are provided free of charge to the applicants and the folks that
Yes.
are
Yes.
participating?
Yes.
Yes.
Great. Want to emphasize that because
Yeah.
it's a great resource to utilize here in
Yes,
Suffolk.
yes.
Okay, well, thank you both.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome. Thank you.
We're joined by Deb Habacker and Jackie Graves, GED teachers here at the Suffolk Workforce Development Center. Thank you both for being with us today.
Okay, thank you.
Let's talk about the GED program offerings here that, of course, are done in partnership with Suffolk Public Schools. What services are provided here for someone who is looking for his or her GED? What could y'all do for them here?
Okay, we do placement testing here. We do placements testing 4 times a year. And students, all they have to do is come into the main office and they'll be directed into our classroom, and we'll do placement testing. And once they have been tested, they will start class immediately. The classes are free. There's supplies. We give free. We have free supplies. Okay. It is a very leisurely environment. We take students 18 years and so on.
Okay.
And we do the placement testing. We do not give the GED test here, but once they are placed, and then we start classes immediately.
Okay, so again, you do the pre-testing as well as the actual coursework itself to prepare them for the real test, but you do the practice testing here at this facility as well, correct?
Yes, we give the practice test, and the practice test is a test we give them to see if they are ready to take the GED test.
Got it.
And then after that, then we do recommend them to take the GED test at the Prudence Center.
Got it. And of course, as you noted, all the services that you ladies and other folks here at the staff center provide are free of charge. So if you come in, well, you're here to help them, get them through the process, get them to the GED test, and hopefully prepare them to successfully pass that test and then move on with their careers, correct?
That's correct.
We also take a very individualistic approach. Everybody works at their own level.
Right.
If somebody comes in low and somebody comes in high, we don't put them together.
Right.
And they start where they are, and we move them according to the speed and the pace. So there's not like a classroom situation, but more one-on-one individualistic approach.
And I guess you tailor the program to the individual, correct?
Oh, definitely.
Right.
Yes. Because of the fact that we're working with adults, sometimes there's a lot of things going on in their lives, so we try to make it as comfortable and convenient as we can for them.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for watching this edition of On the Scene. We'll see you next time.